In this video, I'll break down a robbery that was caught on CCTV. This just happened August 1st, 2025. This crime happened in Newtown, which is a suburb of Johannesburg, South Africa. Johannesburg is the biggest city in South Africa. Over 5 million people in the city proper. Over 10 million in the greater metropolitan area. That's a big city. If you live in a big city, you may want to stick around as I'll give you a common sense way to avoid all this drama to begin with. Hey guys, retired Lieutenant Todd Heaton here with Humilitas First. These two armed robbers walking in the roadway, well, they seem to be together, but they're staggered about 2 to 3 meters apart, whereas normally friends who are walking together, they usually walk closer together, closer to shoulder than this. The man on the far left, he's also staggered a little forward, and that gap will increase as they continue walking. So the first thing that's getting my attention is, why are these guys walking in the road? Well, I know one thing for sure. That's going to give the guy that's closest to my vehicle an opportunity. Because when it comes to crimes like this, proximity is king. Then when I think about how they're staggered, I can't help but think about wolf formations or a working formation. Like these guys are going to work. Well, I don't want to be part of that work product. My best guess is that this is a disinterested near pass. Meaning, neither robber is going to make eye contact nor even look towards the victims as they're seated inside this vehicle. Why? Well, because they want the occupants of that vehicle to believe that they have no interest at all in them. They want to surprise their victims. Why? Surprise, speed, and violence of action. It works. That's the principles that work, for good or for evil. It's not uncommon to see the guy that's closest to the intended victims when he reaches this apex point to pivot 90 degrees, clearing his garment and drawing his weapon, raising it up and dominating. Here's an example where the bad guy is going the other direction. The direction is not important. The tactic, technique, or procedure, that's what's important. So why didn't they use this tactic, technique, or procedure? I don't know. Maybe they were concerned that these two guys might be armed. Maybe they're trying to improve upon their tactics. Tactics change. If you want to stay current, you have to see what the bad guys are doing. Only they can answer that question. I posted this video a little earlier, and almost immediately I got a couple of comments with people reminding me the driver's side of the vehicle in South Africa, it's on the right. It's not on the left like it is in the United States. Well, that is a really good reason to do what they did here. The contact robber is going to want to immediately go to, dominate, and control the driver, so that the driver doesn't even think about or attempt to drive away. Had this been in the United States where the driver's side is on the left, then there's no shortage of robbery crews that would have just pivoted 90 degrees, simultaneously drawing their gun, getting it up on target, and dominating at this very point. Look at this guy's right arm. He appears to be talking on a cell phone. Oftentimes, I think bad guys use this as a ruse, pretending like they're talking on the phone to draw near to unsuspecting victims. But in this case, he probably is talking to his partners in this little silver car, telling them, hey, I found a good one. Pull up and cut off their escape route. If the driver had been paying attention, he could have used his passenger side exterior mirror, and he would have seen this guy's head snap to the left, looking back at the car. That should be a clue. Meanwhile, his cohort in crime, these two robbers are acting in concert together. Well, he's slowing to a stall. The vehicle is a visual obstruction for the driver, whether he turns around in his seat or uses his mirrors. He's going to temporarily lose sight of this guy, presuming that one of the two people in this vehicle were even continuing to monitor this guy. They're going to lose sight. And here's the other thing. You got a lot of things going on all at the same time. And if it were me, I'm going to be focused primarily on the guy who's closest to me, this guy. So I'm going to go from looking out the passenger side exterior mirror to looking out the driver's side exterior mirror to see if he rounds the back of that car and starts coming towards my vehicle. Without the vehicle being involved, just with the two people. I can't watch two people at the same time when they're going different directions. So then if I'm looking out the passenger side exterior mirror, who do I watch? I got a better question for you. Why am I still here, parked in this parking space? More on that in a second. So I'm going to be reading this developing situation with a high suspicion that this guy is working his way behind me to attack from a rear ambush position. Now let's complicate it further, and the vehicle is going to turn in and trap me, providing a blockade. So that might get my attention. That might be a distraction. This closest armed robber, he's going to put his phone away. He's going to round the corner. He's going to draw. Can you see the 90-degree bend in his elbow? He's pulling the gun out of his waistline. And he's going to time this thing to coincide with the distraction of that vehicle turning in. It's a blockade. Look at the back of their vehicle. They've got nowhere to go. They're trapped. And now they're facing a gun off the driver's side of the vehicle. Well, what about the passenger side of the vehicle? Well, we see the cohort in crime, the backup guy, person who's not the shot caller. He's coming in to also dominate the passenger side of the vehicle. The first several times I watched it, I thought that the way that they orchestrated this attack was well coordinated and fairly squared away. Then I remembered a great lesson from Tim Larkin. As a coach in the same lane that I'm in, Mr. Larkin has said more than once that he's had the opportunity to interview some of the top alpha predators serving long prison sentences. Among other things, one of the things that he learned when interviewing these alpha predators is that when they were shown violent video footage, they'd look at those acts of violence and they would never identify with the victim. Never. They always identified with the winners in any violent video that they saw. And they would also be critical of the winners. They'd identify the winning principles, but then they would add how they would have improved upon those winning principles, how they would have tightened things up, as it were. I'll put a link in the description to a really good interview where Mr. Larkin talks about this and much more. Now, as a coach, it's difficult to find any other coach that you're going to agree with on everything. It's no different with Mr. Larkin. I may not agree with every single thing that he believes related to training, but I do agree with this and a great deal of what he teaches. I do recommend following him on his YouTube channel. If you're interested in gaining even more knowledge and if you'd like to help support Humilitas First in this work of educating and helping innocent people of goodwill stack the odds against the unjust criminal aggressors, then please consider joining me in supporting this work at humilitasfirst.locals.com. Additionally, please consider subscribing and sharing this content with like-minded family and friends. The number one way to avoid all of this drama in the first place is just don't be in a high crime dangerous area. Presuming that that is not an option for you for some reason, and you do have to be here, then the number one way to avoid this is going to be to see it developing earlier and then just drive off earlier. For instance, the video never picks up early enough for my liking. So let's say these guys got dropped off somewhere on this connecting street, somewhere around this intersection down here. And then the other half of this robbery crew, the people in the vehicle, well, they just circle around the block, stopping short just out of the line of sight, or maybe they have line of sight, until they get the go signal from the shot caller, the team leader talking on the phone. Say you see these two round this corner down here, and they're together. They're closer together. Then you see them begin to split. You see them spreading out into a working formation, like they're going to work. Or maybe they maintain that working formation the whole time. But at a minimum, you see them walk out into the street, or they're already in the street, and they just turn the corner. And now they're taking a line that's going to give them a near pass with you and yours. Well, for my part, he is not going to gain that apex point, that point where he can simultaneously pivot, draw, ready up, and do what bad guys do. At least not with my vehicle remaining stationary, just waiting for the bad guy to develop the situation. No, where possible, I'm going to develop the situation. This is a little window of opportunity for you to just take a little cruise. Maybe I drive 5 blocks away and then circle back. When I circle back, I'm going to do a pass by on an intersecting street. Why? Because I want to scope things out and I want to see if these two shiesty guys, if they're still staging or loitering on this street. Now, say I'm waiting on a family member or a friend who had to run into a business, they're patronizing a business somewhere on this street. Well, as I drive away, as soon as I'm kind of out of harm's way, I'm going to call them and I'm going to tell them, hey, whatever you do, don't come outside. Remain inside until I call you back with further instructions, as there's some problems outside. I may also tell them, hey, go check it out and see if there's a side or a back exit. Oh, why do I want to know that? Because I'm looking for other solutions. I'm looking for more options. Options are good. Because when I come back in, a few minutes, if these guys are still staging or loitering, then I may just have them go to the side or the back exit. But first, I'm going to go check those locations out as well. If it looks good, I'm going to tell them to walk out. They're going to get in my car. We're going to drive away. No drama. No drama.